kind of what we discussed was 3 years of 10% was probably your starting point for discussion. Now you will need more analysis, and I strongly recommend that you reach out to
All right, we're gonna have a pledge meeting. She's running late. Oh. Okay, you started.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so 4:49.
Call order?
Yep.
Move to approve agenda, all those in favor, say aye. Okay, any citizens opportunity to address the council?
I would. As always, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to y'all. I think over the past few months, I've made it known that I'm trying to advocate for transparency, accessibility, and kind of fairness in how our city operates. Unfortunately, I've kind of continued to see discrepancies in that decision-making process and kind of raise concerns about the priorities and accountabilities. Other members of the public have asked to speak kind of through them and bring situations to your attention because they're unable to attend meetings at the given time. We've been told that, city workers are overworked to the point that the responsibilities, I think one of the ones that was brought up was potentially moving the city pile at the dump, and amongst other things, just simply can't be asked of them. And I absolutely understand that the city employees are stretched thin and definitely appreciate their hard work in keeping the community running. Just wanting to ask you all, like, if being overworked with little time to do the actual necessary job responsibilities of them is truly an issue, then I have concerns about the city kind of shifting more of the specialized jobs away from local businesses and having city employees responsibilities themselves. Especially when certain local businesses have been responsible for these city jobs for decades at this point, going back to when their grandpas doing work for the city. Furthermore, I guess kind of why are we diverting local businesses and supporting them when they're continually choosing to keep their businesses within city limits even? I can see definitely how the jobs are cost effective in nature upfront, but curious definitely to if the savings in the long run outweighs the initial expense. Was a financial analysis conducted before purchasing specialized equipment to handle these unique jobs in-house? Have the cost of buying, maintaining, eventually replacing the equipment been weighed against the benefits of contracting work to the existing local businesses? And are we performing regular maintenance on this equipment to avoid the bill of unnecessary repairs down the road? Beyond financial concerns, this shift also raises questions about fairness. We've seen local businesses blocked from utilizing city resources while completing jobs for city residents, and even when they're working on city-owned projects. All mainly over personal agreements, emotions, and feelings. But then we'll rely on these businesses when it becomes inconvenient for city employees to complete a task. Wondering what kind of message that sends about how we support our own community members, and again, who choose to keep their business local and within city limits. Another concern that I've mentioned prior is professionalism. It's disappointing to hear that a council member publicly criticized a local business owner over a quote that was provided and approved by all city council members. Ultimately, I think we should be focused on supporting our local businesses despite personal emotions for the people running said businesses. If there are concerns about pricing or services, those conversations should be handled professionally and direct and not in a public setting such as a bar. Respect should be at the core of every intention and interaction between city leadership and our residents, especially when we are relying on these same businesses to support our community growth. In February, I spoke and requested to make city boards and points of contact more easily accessible to the public so that interested citizens could get involved if interested. Later that very same meeting, it came out that you were unsure who was even on specifically the Parks and Rec board, and that the board members themselves weren't even sure if they were still serving. Again, this is quite a simple fix, having a regularly updated list on the city website, including the open positions, dates of reelection, and contact information would make this easier for city residents to get involved. At the end of the day, I know that none of your decisions are made with the intention of creating confusion or frustration, but I do think we can do better when it comes to consistency, transparency, and community engagement. My hope is that by working together, we can continue to implement solutions that make city operations more efficient, fair, and accessible to all.
Hey, Nicole, I got a question.
Yeah.
Do we know for sure all that's true?
Yes,
Do you know that for sure all that, what you just read is exactly the truth, everyone?
yes.
That's all I have.
I'll make the motion. Second. Move the second, approve the consent agenda, all in favor? Aye. That means you have to approve it, no. Approve the bill.
I understand her bill came in over less than.
They're good, they're good. Our fourth transformer is here, so we'll have to write those kind of checks anytime.
Generally, are we happy with our electrical system in town? And I guess a very, very general question. Do we have any situations where we should be concerned about?
We are working with an engineer that's gonna come over once all these transformers are here. We have one that has to go back to Clarion, that's on borrow, so that will take the high school down at some point again. Well, they swap them out, and take that one back. But now that all the transformers are here, that engineer, I can't think of his name, is gonna come back and work with them. And look at more of the plans and make sure that they can get through them because they're so.
Are we tracing some things down that
Yes.
need to be?
Yes, the big, that's what the engineer is doing.
We'll come up with some updated, the maps, the map. Correct, in the show. Great to the pick one.
And some of them are 95, 96. So, did we approve the bills? Did somebody?
I'll make a motion to approve the bill. I'll second.
Move the second through the bills, all in favor?
Did that answer your question?
All in favor.
So this is the revolving loan that we talked about and we put Jonathan on the committee. This is 2 loans that's on the back page. I cannot read the name. It's for one business, and this is how the financing works out. So 13,000, 3,000, and the 1% interest for the fee is $160, and then she will pay this back in those.
Where are you seeing that? Did you say on the back?
Yeah, back of that page, right there. So we need an approval. This is a loan from us here at the city. We just saw the budget, there's 1.1 something in that fund. So,
In the,
revolving loan
the
fund.
loan, they approved. They approved it all down to just. send it
Now
to-
this is just
send
the
it
council.
to us, for us to.
Yes,
They have done all this stuff through them?
yes.
Follow the criteria.
Yes.
So we need to do it.
We just need to approve it.
Move to the second to approve, do we need a roll call?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Reese? Yes. Mr. Gallo? Yes. Mr. Richards? Yes. Mr. DeWalt? Yes. Mr. Stover? Yes. Did we skip, we skipped one? Yeah. Oh,
Resolution number 13, so this is Cody and Dean, talked with the guys, we've talked about it a couple times. I finally got the wording where it made more sense. If you guys are okay with the wording, then we need to motion and approve this. And then we'll go into effect.
Well, the employees had this thing,
Yeah.
they're
And that's
fine
fine.
with it, they're happy with it.
Yep, everybody's okay.
We would choose half days before the Monday
Oh.
holiday. Except for MLK, President's Day, and Columbus Day. But the other,
These are always on Monday, so that's why it was easier to take these out, because we don't need to have to Friday for holiday. The rest of them are, day, you know, whenever the date falls.
any other discussion? I make a motion. That we approve it. I'll second. Moved and seconded, and again, to the Mr. Reese? Yes. Mr. Gallo? Yes. Mr. Richards? Yes. Mr. Orr? Yes. And Mr. Stover? Yes.
Thank you. Now we're down to the grants.
Sign the grant?
So this is for the hospital, this is, well, for anybody in town that qualifies, any business. The sign is on the back page. His estimate is 10,660. He's asking for the full 500, and it should be installed before June 1st.
What, so,
What?
what, sit out and vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, so,
I'm gonna know if they're approved, okay, for 500 for the PC.
Okay.
For the PC. Okay.
Thank you. The next one is, oh,
I,
oh, yeah.
I have a question on the sign itself and what's on it. As far as Unity Point, we don't need any reference to the community hospital or it's just.
it's their building, they run it.
It's
They're not a clinic, yeah, it's just a clinic. Hospital.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so,
Yes, sir.
Moved and seconded, and so we will vote on, sign grant for Unity Point. Mr. Ullman,
Yes.
Mr. Richards.
Yes.
Mr. Gallo.
Everything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And Mr. Stover.
Yes.
So, okay. To approve the sign grant for Discovery Daycare.
yes. So here we go again. This is for the daycare, so this affects the whole county and all the employees at the city, the school, and the hospital. This is part of the playground equipment that will give these kids something to go outside and do. Because the equipment was so deteriorated, we had to take it down for safety concerns. So they're ordering, well, it's ordered to bring in this new equipment and kids. He's asking for the facade grant because it will be hitting all the buttons.
Where's that money come from then?
We have, that's that tip.
The tip money?
So it's up to you guys if you wanna do 5,000 or 10. We usually do 5, but I didn't know with it being the daycare,
How do they
And it's
figure
supporting
it's
all
part of the facade?
because it's upgrading the building in the center for, to bring more people in. Like right now, if you look at it, it looks a little antique. But having this,
But it's playground equipment,
it is,
it's not your front porch, it's yours.
well, it doesn't have to, it's the grounds that the building is on. Is what the-
I was a little confused when I figured it was, yeah, I didn't know if it was, I just wanted making sure it was, that's what the facade grant correlates to it, and it's not worth playing in a gray area.
It's, if anything, upgrading the outside, which would be around the material, maybe painting windows, painting the front, upgrading the landscaping, that kind of thing. You want me to pull paperwork and read it?
I'm amazed with $70,000 worth of playground equipment looks like.
And
Yeah.
80,000. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we can get done.
So the interesting thing, 79,000, did we get money for some other? I know we talked about
What was
this
that
before,
grant that we voted on?
did we just vote on one?
For. Go to, that, listen to a grant, remember?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Just a couple of meetings ago.
It wasn't too long ago that there was one going on.
So they paid that? The city got it. We voted on it, give it.
What was the grant or whatever we gave to, that the city got and gave to the,
The 5210,
yeah, how
they
much,
get a portion of that, they're not getting all 20,000.
how much of it did they give?
We don't even know yet, we don't know until July. So it says,
So,
oh, go ahead.
it's not over 20,000. So, this deal is with the hospital, the city, and the school. Just so everybody knows how much are they getting, so.
Well, if we don't, I don't, if we don't help the way we can through the city council, he's still gonna have to come back and ask. So,
Three ways.
So it says eligible improvements, painting, signage improvement, awnings, windows, exterior masonry repair, including tuck pointing and exterior lighting. The facility improvements are designed in a manner mindful of complementary to the existing buildings and overall downtown plan. The facility should be compatible and complementary with and any nearby buildings, agricultural scale, color, and proportion. All buildings and improvements shall be designed with attention and sensitivity to the historical, architectural, and physical content to which they are located. All windows will fit the entire opening of the replacement area for eligible grant consideration. So it's gonna be up to you.
And just to be clear, I'm not asking, I'm not supporting the bid there.
No,
No, yeah,
I wanted to come
I
across.
feel I'd rather give them money. Just give them money, not through this.
you may have a,
Not through the facade grant, because I think it's gonna open a can of worms for other
because it's
people
not downtown.
saying,
That's
well,
what I
we wanna
told
do
you, there might
this.
be a snag.
Yeah, and then that is very true.
And so someone else comes in, well, we wanna do this for our area.
Well, because we just approved Murray Law a few weeks ago, but they're downtown. So that's what triggers it. The fact that it's not on Main Street and it's not a, you know,
And I don't feel so much that's not on Main Street, it's just I feel the facade is your building, whereas your
Yeah.
actual structure.
Yeah.
Not playground, not playground.
okay.
I can feel that somebody else might come and say, well, we want to do all this landscaping. By the building, but that's not really your
And now I'm
facade.
gonna go bring food back from the teacher.
Yes. Well, I agree. I'd like to give 5 or 10. Just
Of our own, okay.
Yeah, then you're probably better to wait.
Yeah.
We're gonna wait,
You're better off to wait and
Okay.
see what the final cost is and see what you need.
so we'll just, so this will be defined right now.
Otherwise, we're gonna get double dip.
Why, yeah, vote on it. And then the other third.
Okay, so we can vote however you want to vote, I'll keep it tally on the copy.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
Yeah.
Alright,
Any other business on that?
nope, that's it, oh, and that's yours, Randy. Okay. All right, reports.
Just needed, feedback on the 2080. Anybody have any commentary? I plan on scheduling a meeting, before the next city council meeting. Hopefully, see if we can get this, get a discussion, really get on together until April 3rd. Get right up to the wall. I have a potential, another employee or another applicant come forward. Nice man from Iowa Falls to cover the Lorenz spot. So as of now, as long as everybody sticks it out, we have two employees, one reserve, one full-time that are currently with applications out. But as long as, the two that I've selected for Lorenz hold on, we will be full force.
So you're hiring for the range?
In that process before I'm hired, because I don't want to get to the end and then start trying to hire.
Yeah. So they don't have to go to the academy or anything?
Both of them will. So one may only have to go through half the academy. Discussion.
Alex, did we get to read that agreement? and
It
everything?
should have been in the last.
You had it in your last packet.
Is that so, did we approve?
We haven't done anything. This was just, I gave you 2 weeks to just take a look at it. If you had any questions, anything you wanted to add to it, or anything that you were concerned, so that we go into this meeting, so I'm a little bit ahead of it, saying, okay, these are where our problems. But for the most part, the basic grant is going to pay, we'll pay for half of my salary. We will provide them 20 hours of protection from us. They will have 2 of their own officers. I will also manage those 2 officers as the city of Lorraine. I mean, so I'm basically going to be kind of this weird quasi, I'm going to be paid by the city of Pocahontas. I will be your chief of police, but I will also carry the title of Lorenz chief of police. And then our goal is then they'll have 2 officers. And then eventually what will happen is that those 2 officers can filter into ours however we want to do it. Their equipment and everything else become kind of a slushy type thought process. In that, then also we'll have that, and then I know Tom had brought up then the concerns, okay, so what happens if we go beyond the 20 hours? And that is something that also is addressed in there in the bottom. There's no numbers filled in as of right now, so. And then just on the side note, so like the 20 hours also includes my admin time, so it's not all, just.
So what about the liability part?
Liability is not because again, your only liability is me, because the agencies are split, and your 2080 basically says the 2 agencies will maintain their own liability.
So I remember you saying you might drive a police car over there, or get a police car.
Well, that could be a possibility.
Right, that, so you, what happens if something happens between now, from when you leave here to there?
The same thing it is today. It's our liability. It's always our liability. So if we get called up there for a man with a gun, it's our liability, not the county liability. So it all depends on our response and whatever. So it doesn't create anything new that I'm responding to Lorenz. So now Lorenz puts a blanket across us for our liability. It's not the way it works. It's that each agency, agrees. But when we're working for Lorenz, so if we have an officer up there taking a call and they're working for Lorenz, they're under Lorenz's policy.
I just meant if by the time you leave here, you said use a police car.
Right.
So you'd be under the city's liability until you got there and got into their police car?
If we have a call, so I'm thinking of this in 2 different ways. If we have a call and we're in Pocahontas and we have to respond to Lorenz, it starts when the call starts. Does that make sense? So like when the sheriff's office, they start their raw time or their Fonda time when they get that call. With, domestic situation, they may be in Fonda, but they count all that time. You're covered under that. If we have to put in some time because we have 20 hours to do, and that 20 hours will be in our squad cars. Understand? It's only if we're working for them or we're actually covered. The 2 sides of that. If that doesn't start until we hit the city. So there's 2 levels. There's one that's call based, and one of it is just if we're providing protection for the 20 hours for them paying half of the salary. That's how that works. And in that they right now it would be half of my salary. So that's what you do. And then, included that email just for you guys to peruse, just if you have any questions, let me know. And I have not stopped and brought to, Pokey State yet on the booth, because we don't have a copy of that booth right now. So Pat's the only one that does, so I just haven't had a chance. On Heritage Park, and it's. Yeah.
Well, I can say the clerk has learned the revolving loan fund and how much fund balance it had is this week. So Cindy Murphy came over and gave him that, and he tackled it first go around, so those are all part of it for us. Other than that, I've just been working with Brad, anything he asks for, I send it to him, see if he can put it together.
What about study reports and everything?
I have not heard from Nick, I did send them to him, I should go check with him. So, that was last week.
Are those up, then we're making project?
Well, we're working on it. We're gonna, since September will not balance, we're just gonna go away from the system of balance and bills. So we know the checks we've written have cleared and the bank said. So we're just gonna do it with faster paper.
When
Through the
that
end of this-
started, or when is that?
He's working.
By?
He's working on it. I gave him money. We figured out a report that he can look right off, and then I'm doing it by hand and he can compare it to, and put it in his spreadsheet. And then he can- I've done them all by hand through this. To try and get a year in. For the audit. I did post the utility billing clerk position. I've only had 2 applications come in. One of them has been a lady that has sent her application in. All 3 times I've posted anything, and then one came and filled one out today, but I didn't have a chance. Not even the, point where I could get to the hand.
Is there a salary range there? We were talking about that.
18. Okay. Mr. Mayor?
Don't really have anything, is that the courthouse, that's their meeting. Check myself, didn't want to all that. I did ask about the new jail up here, how it's coming. 3 to 5 weeks ahead of schedule. Didn't get a chance to ask about any cost overruns, if that's gonna be an issue or not. I don't know if that's the only prison grade that's come up with. I guess it did have several samples, didn't it? Folks all happy with it.
I asked the fire to have run the again, and do it the next time, discussion about, pay, they come to it, like that.
Okay. You'll have to maybe come with it. So I know what you're coming up with.
But first any meetings,
Okay.
you want to go get meetings or anything else.
Okay.
You guys are on for somebody else, or else? That would be kind of.
You don't mind.
Sometimes I hear, hey, city from.
Motion?
So moved.